Darren Barker.
And I'm Spencer Oliver.
I'm Sylvester Stallone.
I'm David Haye.
I'm Clarice.
I'm James DeGale.
I'm Angel Townsend.
I'm Carl Frost.
And
This is The Live Show.
This is The Live Show.
This is The Live Show.
Hello and welcome to the live shows. Well, what a show we've got lined up for you this week. We're going to be talking about Anthony Joshua winning the world heavyweight title last weekend. Such a crack. And also what a great undercard that was. Listen, if you missed last week's show, we had Johnny Nelson on. He was previewing the show. We had some great banter on there with Johnny. And out the blue, Johnny threw something in the mix that his name's not really Johnny. So if you missed that, go onto the archives and find out what his real name is, but it's hilarious, wasn't it?
It was very funny. I'm not just saying it to get you to watch it on the archive. Honestly, get on there because it's a very, very funny story, and you'd be shocked. And it was like I say, it was hilarious. Right, so also on the show, we're giving away a very good prize. You might have seen it on Twitter, but it's a signed Amir Khan glove. And what we want to for the lucky viewer to be able to win it, we want you to come up on stage and tell us a simple question. You can find it out. How old was Anthony Joshua when he started boxing? And it's the age that Spencer's told me.
Well, that's what it is.
Spencer knows.
And how do I know? Because I know.
He knows.
So the question is, how old was Anthony Joshua when he started boxing? You got to press a request to chat. You got to come up live and chat.
So it'd be like there, I think. Up there. It should say request to chat. Click that, you'll come up, we'll bring you up. Blimey, guess 1159. See, look, sorry, mate, I can't have that. No, you've got to come up.
You've got to request to chat.
I would love to give you that, guess 1159, but you've got to come up. I want to hear that. If that is the correct answer, I'm not giving it away, are we?
Don't give nothing away. But anyway, right, let's start off with the show. Dale. Anthony Joshua last week, we were both there.
What
an unbelievable performance. I mean, yes, we expected him to win, but no one expected him to win the way that he won, did he? I mean, He come over with Charles Martin, giving the big and come into the ring, wearing that big stupid crown, and just got blown away in 2 rounds.
He did. Do you know what? Especially as well, it's no lie. I honestly think that canopy at the O2 slightly lifted off the floor. It was so loud in there, wasn't it? It was definitely. I've been to a few fights there, Froch, Keza. Too. Yeah, that was loud, but blimey, this fight was something else.
That was a little bit like Ricky Hatton Costas you. That sort of bit. If anything, it was even better. I mean, it was one of the best atmospheres I've been to, and I've got to tell you as well, sitting at ringside, so we could literally touch the ropes. We was that close. And when Anthony Joshua landed a shot, you could feel the tables vibrate. And people think I'm joking when I said that. I said that in an interview that I'd done, but it's true. That geezer, it's so hard. It's unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen a heavyweight punch as hard as he does, and I think that he's going to be around a long time.
I do as well. We've got guess 1149 here. What do you think Mike's performance? Well, do you know what? It ended so early that you can't really judge it. My thing is, I went after I went to Repton, and something in the water there was full of southpaws. Yeah. And we were talking, when you fight the southpaw, it's the right hand down the middle. Yeah. They were 2 perfect right hands. I mean, it can't get any cleaner than that. It was absolutely perfect. So I wouldn't say it was how bad Martin's performance was. He might have been a little bit, the occasion might have got to him a little bit or whatever, but it was perfectly timed shots.
It was how clinical Joshua was and how perfectly timed Joshua was. So, yeah, great performance by Joshua. We'll be talking about the undercard as well now. We've got someone already.
Right, Ben, let's bring Ben Bishop up. Ben Bishop, up and let's have your views, or did you just want to win the glove? Hello, mate.
I was just going to say 18. Someone else has already.
No,
you won. Ben Bishop's won the glove. Blimey, how long we've been on 4 minutes and you won the glove?
So yeah, we said the first person that comes on and requests to chat and comes up. So well done, Ben. What do you think of his performance, mate?
AJ's.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah, I mean, it didn't last that long. I was up in the gods, so I didn't have quite the same view you guys did, but.
But the atmosphere, what was the atmosphere like, man? It was like unreal, wasn't it?
The atmosphere was mental. It was crazy.
Sorry, mate, go on.
I've been there once. I watched, it wasn't his last fight, but the fight before that I watched there, and that was crazy, but it was a different level at the weekend. It definitely was.
Was you disappointed with Charles Martin? He's getting a bit of stick coming over as a champion and get blown away in 2 rounds. Was you disappointed the way the fight went?
I wasn't disappointed. No one knew what was going to happen, right? No one was really 100% sure what Charles Martin was going to give, and all he gave was what he gave was the same as, or what he got was the same as what every other opponent's got that Anthony Joshua's dealt with.
I think Ben,
other than Dillian White, do you know what I mean? So was I disappointed a little bit, but I was happy that he won, and I was happy that he got to move on, and we get to see these bigger fights in the future.
Exactly.
Sure. I mean, Ben, I think that what everyone thought, everyone, you know, in the boxing game was the same as you. They wasn't sure what Martin was going to bring, but the word around town was that this kid was winning every round when he was sparring. I know they were trying to build the fight up as well, but it was genuinely good stuff we heard about him. So the manner that Joshua dealt with him, I've got to admit, was so impressive, because I think that if you look at Joshua's fights and his performances going on, I mean, take the Dillian White fight out of the equation, because for me, I think it was all a little bit too personal. His emotions got to him, and he didn't really box too well. But I mean, he's going to take some beating on that performance that he boxed on Saturday night, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm interested to see who he fights next, or who he fights after that. I mean, Tyson Fury's been given it a lot of mouth over the last.
Who wins that fight?
What, Tyson Fury, Joshua? I don't know. I honestly can't say. I literally, it's so hard to say that fight. I would like to see Joshua win.
Yeah.
I think Tyson Fury's playing a bit of a martyr at the minute with all the stuff he's saying. But I would like to see Anthony Joshua win, and I think that he probably can. Maybe not next, but maybe afterwards. I think he probably can. But like everyone says, and like you guys say, and every time you speak to someone, it's heavyweights, right? So
I think timing's key with that fight.
Yeah.
If they fight now, I'll probably just lean towards Fury, if I'm honest, just because of his experience and that.
Yeah.
But Anthony Joshua's only going to get better. That's a fact. He's only going to get better.
12 months down the line, I think there's only one winner. There'll be one winner.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think that you know, timing is key, and I don't think that the fight will happen next anyway. I think that they're going to let Joshua grow into becoming a world champion. So that fight will possibly happen next summer, and if it happens next summer, for me, there's only one.
Do you know what? I've got to say, this is I'm sat there thinking about what I said. I don't think Fury beat him, actually. I don't. I think Anthony Joshua win. No, I changed my mind because I'm just thinking, no, do you know what it is?
Yeah. Experience
is crucial in top level boxing. But there's rumours, I haven't seen pictures or seen it, but he's gone up to about 24 stone apparently.
I literally watched an interview a second ago with Tyson Fury saying how he's given up with boxing, achieved everything he wants, and he's now 24 stone and has zero motivation.
Well, I'm going, Joshua,
100%. He's a better athlete. Scrap that last 30 seconds ago. It's Anthony Joshua for me. Ben, thank you so much for coming on, mate. You've got to, it's the live show at yahoo.com, all right?
Yeah.
Ping us in your name and your address.
Send your name, and we will forward you on the glove. So that's Darren Barker's department. He's slacking a little bit because he owes a couple of guys gloves at the moment.
Ali Spratt and who's the other one? I've got here Ryan. They're on their way. So Ben, get your name and address over.
Tomorrow.
So no shoot, and they're out tomorrow, right?
Cheers. Thank you, guys.
Take care, mate.
Good having you on, mate.
Cheers.
That was cold, mate. It was cold.
That was good. Thanks for coming on, Ben. He straight away was on 4 minutes there, and he got the answer. Right. That was the first time Martin got beat. Yeah, he drew one early on in his career, and I think, like you said, then apparently he'd never even lost a round in sparring. So I know the CV, the resume, whatever you want to call it, wasn't that great. Yeah. The opponents he fought weren't the best.
But he knocked them all out, so you can only do that. I mean,
you can only beat knockouts in front of you, and at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua was fighting a world champion, so you had to hype Charles Martin as a heavyweight champion. I mean, the heavyweight champion out there at the minute is Tyson Fury, but he was a heavyweight champion, so you've got to bill him as that.
Can't knock him for that.
We've got a few more down here. I think Martin done well to get paid. A lot of people saying that. He obviously did get paid well coming to London to defend the title. So,
listen, if you're coming to London to box Anthony Joshua, Olympic gold medalist, who's not 15 out of 15 out, you're defending for the first time, you want to get well paid. Yeah. This sport's too hard not to get well paid, and I think he deserved the money that he got. He was the champion at the time, so good luck to him. We're in this game to get a few quid out of it, and it's nice to see him walking away with a payday.
Matty, don't you fancy coming on, Matty Williams? Why don't you come on and ask us a question, mate? You got a bit to say, and I'd love to hear from you. We both would. AJK, I assume you're talking about Tyson Fury there. Who knows? Oh, look at Jonathan Smith. This show is the new ringside. Great work, lads.
Really appreciate that. Boom.
We'll have that.
We're on that.
And quickly one more, just as they're here, because otherwise I ain't got to play catch up. What do you think of Harold Davis? Right.
Well,
we've seen him.
Yeah, I mean,
we're going to be able to touch on him, mate.
Yeah, because we've got a little format written out here. So Harold Davis is in this next part that we're going to be talking about. So we're going to run through the bill on Saturday night. We're going to be talking about all the undercards. So we'll give you that answer about how Harold Davis. Well, just in a minute. I mean, we talked about Anthony Joshua there and what a great performance that was.
Let's talk about where's he go next, though, quickly, as we're on the Anthony Joshua. What do you think? Does he take the voluntaries? Does he go for a big name?
No, he doesn't go. I don't think he should go for a big name now. I think that he needs to grow in as a champion.
Is it remember,
he's only had 16 fights.
We were talking about them, wasn't he? Yeah. So we've got Ben's come up and won it. Anthony Joshua started boxing when he was 18. He's 26 now. He's been boxing 8 years.
Yeah.
It's nuts. He's
in that time, he won ABA titles, Olympic gold medals, world silver medals, world heavyweight title. I mean, this kid's unreal. And I think that he should be given time to grow in as a champion, maybe 2 defences before tackling David Haye, Tyson Fury, cleaning up the British scene. I mean, I personally believe, don't know about you, I think he's going to be there a long time, mate. I think he's going to be there he'll be at the top of 10 years or so. I think that now he's taken over reign from the Klitschko's, I believe that he will be there as long as the Klitschko's, but just obviously a much more exciting
Do you think he beats Deontay Wilder now?
That's a flip of a coin, man, because they're both heavy-handed. But yeah, I think he does, because I think that Deontay Wilder is a little bit too reckless. And I said it like I just said. I'm just echoing what I just said. When that geezer hits someone, you feel the tables vibrate when you're sitting at ringside. Yeah. I mean, it is phenomenal power.
Who do you think?
Don't matter who it is. I think Joshua hits harder than Wilder. Yeah, I do. Wilder, although he's big and he's rangy, he's only about 15.5 stone, I think it is.
Really?
Yeah. Joshua's bigger, stronger, and he's just.
Do you think Wilder, just on that note, do you think he's another, if you want to call him a hype job, like Charles Martin?
No.
Is it hype, or do you think he's better than Charles Martin?
I think he's better than that, and I think he's proven, he gets a lot of stick for putting in not such great performances, but he still finds a way to win. He's proved that, he can take a shot. He proved that he can go 12 rounds. All the answers that we've not really seen from Joshua yet. So he's proven as opposed to Joshua, who's still not proven. Although I believe that he can do that. He can do the 12 rounds, take a good shot, get up off the floor. I believe that Joshua's got all that, because I think he's got the heart and desire to do that. But yeah, I think that Joshua is going to be the future of the world.
Right. So, but right now we're saying Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world. He is. But he is the heavyweight champion of the world. Yeah. Who do you think the best is? Do you think Anthony Joshua is the best heavyweight in the world now?
I do.
You do, yeah.
I do. I honestly do. I think.
Is that your head or your heart saying that?
It's my head saying that.
Yeah.
My heart would want to say that, but it's my head saying that. If you break it down, analyze it all, I just can't see the kid being beat, if I'm honest.
We've got another couple of. How many? You might know this. How many amateur fights did AJ have? Any idea?
No, but I think he was. I'm not sure now, if I'm honest. But I know that he lost. I think he lost 2 as an amateur out of maybe a 50 odd fights, something like that.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. So
we've got a phone going on in the background. It's not my taste of music. Right, another one. We're going to guess 1163. We'll talk about Nigel Benn's son in a bit.
All these guests are answering.
Just because this is on here, did your family train AJ Spencer?
Yeah. Started. AJ walked in the gym when he was an 18-year-old kid. He was trained by my late father and my uncle.
Who trained me, by the way.
Who trained Darren as well. So, he come through the Oliver banner, mate, which I'm very proud to say that he was a part of that. He was also trained by another trainer down there, Sean Murphy. We've done a great job with him. So it was a little team effort down there. But, yeah, the
Olivers, a proper boxing family, the Olivers. Do you want to go through these, Ben, or do you want to go on here?
Yeah, before we take any more questions, just let's just run through the bill that we had on Saturday night. Let's just analyse every bout that we had.
Let's do it.
Chief support was Selby versus Hunter. Hunter come over with a big mouth, giving it the big one. We knew he could fight, by the way, but just don't think he had the engine, did he? I mean, when he started out, he had Selby on the floor in the second round, and you thought,
good shot.
Hold on a minute. This kid might be here. It
was just as the round started creeping on, you could see in Hunter's eyes, he was looking. I wouldn't say looking for a way out, but near the end there, with the points taken off and that, I think he would have happily got disqualified.
Yeah.
You know,
he knew he was losing the fight. He couldn't. Selby worked him out, and he couldn't. He never had a B plan really. He started struggling, started moaning. Great fighter, and I think really a wasted talent hunter, if I'm honest, because I don't think he's got the drive and determination.
He hasn't got that. He ain't got the heart, has he?
No.
He ain't got the heart to go into the trenches, which is a shame because he's, like you say, he's a talented fighter that could be a force.
Yeah.
But if you ain't got that, then
listen, great performance. So great performance, and Selby. Now we talk about him. Who could he box on the British front? We'd love to see him in with some of the maybe super bantamweights. Scott Quigg moving up, Frampton, Cole Frampton. That would be a great fight.
But they're both suited, I would say, more to the featherweight division.
Yeah, but they're both.
Listen,
I know Frampton struggles to make the weight,
yeah.
and I know Quigg's massive for a super bantamweight as well. So they would fit in to the featherweight scene, not a problem at all. And that's I think that's a fight we'd love to see down the line. So great performance.
How do you get on against him though?
It's a difficult one, mate. It's a 50-50, I believe. Selby's a great fighter, and I think that.
Do you think size may be a different? He's got that awkward style, and he's almost Selby's almost like an Ingle fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's very, very awkward. He's got a massive work rate, and he's got a big art as well.
A win for me, as we're talking about Selby, that really impressed me. We're going to talk about him because he's fighting this weekend. Was when he knocked out Stephen Smith, because I rate Stephen Smith. Yeah. He was a class fighter but numerous gold medalists as an amateur for Great Britain and was British champion, and he fought Selby, and that uppercut was like a little uppercut, knocked Stephen Smith out.
Bad shot.
That's when I thought, wow, this Selby is going to go all the way, and he's proved me right. He has.
And I think that he could reign for a while as well, Selby, because I just love I love his work ethic. Great performance there. Also on the undercard, Jamie McDonald. Let's talk a little bit about him.
He's Mr. Reliable, isn't he? You know, he bites down on his gum shield, and and you talk about someone who struggles on the weight, flipping every sim of the way, and he doesn't pretend that he makes the weight. He'll tell you that he struggled bad to make the weight, but something happens from the weigh-in to the fight. He must drink a lot of water. He hydrates because he just gets on with it.
I know what happens.
Right.
He eats and drinks.
Yeah, he must do. He's bigger than me. He must
I'm telling you, he's like the kid just transforms from weigh-in to fight night. I think he goes. I was speaking to his twin brother, who's super bantamweight, European super bantamweight champion, and they said they go up to about 10-10. Now he boxes at 8'6", so I think he wouldn't go up to 10-10, obviously by fight night, but he would definitely put on some sort of 12 pounds, something like that. I mean, massive for a bantamweight and a great fighter. And another one that we could see moving up to super bantam, Frampton, Quigg. I mean, these lighter weights at the moment are unreal. You've got Frampton, Quigg, you've got McDonald, you've got Selby. There's some massive fights to be made there. I mean,
just British boxing is booming. It really is booming in it. I mean, like you say, then the smaller weights would usually get overlooked, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, not to say this, I don't think it's been as high as it has since you was fighting at Super Bantam. You used to bang out arenas and that, didn't you?
Well,
you know what I mean?
I was fortunate enough to have good fighters around at the time as well. Yeah. So we had some good fighters with Brody.
Can I say, if you've never seen Spencer Oliver versus Patrick Mullins, get on YouTube now and watch it. Well, not now. Wait till about 9 o'clock.
Give it half hour.
It's some fight. I remember being it was unbelievable. So tune in. Get on YouTube and watch that because it was epic. Right, so do a couple of these quickly.
Someone said apparently 34 fights. Someone said there. Who was that said that?
I jumped
the queue. You
guess 1144.
I think there was a bit more than 34 fights, if I'm honest, but I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think there was more than 34 fights.
Right, Ryan, how you doing, Ryan? Yeah, like I said, that glove will be coming at you. Too tall for Frampton. That's Selby, I gather.
Yeah, it must be talking about Selby. So, well, no, but what you got to remember is you say too tall for Frampton, but Frampton was a world-class amateur who, when you're amateur, you know what it's like. You box these kids from Europe and whatnot. You're boxing kids at like 6 foot tall, you're bantamweight. It's ridiculous. So I don't think that height would be an issue for Frampton. It's all about
he'd try and get under that jab, wouldn't he? And
he can box on the front foot, box on the back foot. So I don't think that it'd be height that would be the issue. I think it'd be who comes with the best game plan. I think that the fight would be that Frampton would be looking to counter punch on the back foot and Selby would be pushing forward. But I mean, great fight, great one to see. Who else we got there, Dal?
I like this one again. Another one saying the show's good, lad. Needs to get on Sky. He misses ringside on Thursdays. Well, with a new ringside, haven't we?
Well, listen. We're just waiting for the phone call. So we need.
Right. Is there enough pay-per-view dates to make all of these dates?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, there's pay-per-view date. Don't worry about that. If the fights can happen, Eddie Hearn and Sky will put them on.
What do you make of ringside? I mean, I go on Twitter a lot, and they get stick. I mean, for putting these pay-per-views, they feel like they're exploiting the paying public.
No, I don't think pay-per-view is a bad thing. The reason being, let me tell you why. Eddie Hearn will put on like 4 world title fights or put on these massive shows, fill these massive arenas. Now, I'll tell you the reason why they're going pay-per-view, not just to line Eddie's pocket, which admittedly he might get a few quid out of, but not that. These kids have got to be paid, and Eddie's paying them well. You know that now. He's a mate of yours.
100%.
They're getting paid. So what people have got to realise is that when we step through those ropes, and I know better than anyone, it's a dangerous game, and there's serious consequences. I mean, look at Nicky Blackwell the other week.
Yeah.
You know, what happened to him, what happened to myself. So pay-per-view ain't a bad thing. I think that pay-per-view is a good thing because it gives these kids what they've been working for. Most kids are boxing from 7, 8, 9 years of age. So they've been working hard and they deserve to get paid. And I think that's what pay-per-view does. And also for your money, for that $16.95 or whatever, they're getting a good.
You're right, 100%.
Viewing.
Boxers need paying, and you know we're entertaining. Well, saying we, you know, they're entertaining the fans, the paying public. Yeah. They deserve to get paid. They're putting their health on the line. What I think, what gets stick the most is the depth and the quality of the card.
Yeah,
you know that needs to be strong. I think that's what people are getting.
Well, do you know what? Let's look at Saturday night. So let's talk about Saturday night. We had
was that worthy of pay-per-view?
On the undercard, we had Selby McDonald, both in world title fights. George Groves, Ahara Davis, Conor Benn, Nigel Benson. We're going to be covering all these fights through the show. Macklin Rose. I mean, that's got to be a pay-per-view show, mate.
You'd actually pay 22 because
2 world title fights. You got Ahara Davis. You got Macklin Rose. That's got to be what.
Well, as Ryan said, if you stay in on a Saturday and spend 20 quid, that's a cheap night. I don't care about paying for pay-per-view, and I'm a poor student. Well, there you go. I mean,
there's the answer there. He summed it up. He's rounded it up.
I think there's a cult, a group that want to, you know, I don't know, take apart Eddie Hearn. They're I don't know what reason it is, whether it's jealousy or not, but there's a lot of people unhappy with the way he's going about it. But like you said, I've worked with Eddie. He's a fair man. He's a very good man. And though, don't get me wrong, it's a business for him and he's earning very well, but he looks after the boxers.
Yeah, but let's go back to when the shows were at the York Hall and the shows where you had at top of the bill a British title fight with a chief support as an 8-rounder. That's what it used to be back in my day. Yeah. So my point is that you can have, let's take the pay-per-views away, but they're the shows that you would get again. So these shows now, like super shows, look at us when we were there Saturday night. It's not just boxing fans that go to these shows. It's like people that like to go out. It's an event. And people that like to go out for a big night out.
It's a club, isn't it?
It's just heaving. But look, let's just quickly, before you pick that up down, let's just quickly get back to going through the rest of the little bit of the undercard before we obviously answer some more.
Again, anyone wants to come up, look, request a chat, get on here, ask us a question. You know, that's what the beauty of this show is. You can come on and ask your question, voice your opinions or moan or do whatever you want. Come up.
Right, well, look, George Groves versus Brophy. Now, a lot of pressure on George Groves. You know, he's there. We've got Callum Smith coming through the ranks now. Yeah. Callum Smith, he looked phenomenal the other week, by the way. George needed to put in a good performance. I think he done that.
He did. It was one of them. He had nothing to.
It was a banana skin.
It was, you know, it was expected to do exactly what he'd done. There's a few people saying, oh, you know, he's unbeaten, blah, 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 and he's ambitious and, you know, he fancies the job. But George Grove, it was in a different league. And he showed it.
He was undefeated. He'd
done what was expected from it, and he'd done what he would have expected to have done. You know, I know deep down he can pretend and say he's tough. I'm expected to go a few rounds. I know George Groves, and you know when we went down there and we see him training before his last fight, and that he would have wanted to blow him away, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
he'd get back in that mix, especially with, like you say, Callum Smith doing, you know, one
you've got
round.
Callum Smith, you've got James DeGale. You know, again, the super middleweights. I mean, I think it's heavyweight we're talking about these days.
I know, it's British boxing.
But the super middleweights as well. Groves is in the mix, man. And as a fight that I'd like to see him in with, I think they're talking about
who wins
with Groves and
Smith.
It's a tough fight.
That is tough, isn't it?
Tough fight, mate, because we don't really know, because we've not seen enough of Smith to know. I mean, he's just blowing everyone away. To me, at the moment, he's the best prospect
Ben Bishop,
in the country.
Rose.
Yeah, I think he's the best prospect in the country, Smith. But that's when you'll find out what he's really like when he goes in with someone like Groves, someone like DeGale, you know, one of those big names. And I think that we'll find out.
There's a world title on the line. Groves finds Smith. You've got 100 quid. Who you putting on?
It's a tough one, mate. I think I'll just go Groves at the moment, purely because I think the experience that he's got might just carry him through.
I'm either going. It's one of the hardest fights to call.
I know.
I was about to say Groves points.
I think
Smith knockout, but then again,
that's
Callum Smith's got the amateur pedigree more so than Jordan.
No, but I think that's how it go. I think that Smith would win early. The longer the fight goes, the fancy Groves. But it really is one of those splits.
Now you got exactly. So we've got two people said it. Ryan saying Groves chin may let him down, so I'll choose Smith. So straight away there, I know there's only two people. You got 50-50. It's a split.
Why did you ask me a question like that anyway?
Well, I'll ask myself it. I'll ask myself it.
Right, let's move on. Let's further down the field. We had O'Hara Davis. He won his first title, English title, against Keats. Listen, I mean, great fight. Oh, before I talk about O'Hara, you rightly pointed that out, mate. I've missed one of the main fights.
We both did it in our list there. For some reason, we overlooked it.
But Macklin versus Rose. Now, both these kids had it all on the line. The loser, where do you go? The winner gets another shot. Do you think that was the right decision? Now, Macklin won on was it a split? He won on a split, didn't he? Or was it unanimous?
No, it was split.
Yeah,
one of the scores was a draw.
Yeah.
And then 113, 115, 111, 115, 111.
So Macklin won. I was at ringside, and I personally thought that Rose nicked it.
So I think
Rose nicked it, but there was a mixed view, man, going around.
So my trainer Tony was ringside watching it, as I was and as you was, and I had it a draw, or maybe Macklin just nicking it by a round. Yeah. Tony had Macklin winning. You had Rose. A few others had Rose. I think Adam Smith and a couple of boys at ringside as well had Rose. It really was a 50-50 split on it. I suppose it was what side of the ring you were sitting. Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember, we've got 3 judges there. They're all sitting on different sides of the ring, so everybody's getting a different view.
Score it. I mean, it was for me first and foremost. It was a disappointment.
Yeah. Until
the end, it come alight a little bit, but it was a big cage in. I weren't expecting that, and I've seen interviews after.
I think they both knew what was on the line. That's why.
Yeah, exactly, and they were worried a little bit, and I see interviews after, and they were both surprised the way the fight panned out.
But
it was very cagey.
How banged up was Macklin? Now that to me
early on as well.
That to me is a little bit worrying, because when a fighter's coming to the end of his career, right? You know yourself, when a fighter's coming to the end of his career, at the end of the first round, right? Rose was popping in with jabs. His face was banged up, man, after the end, and he didn't take a beating.
No, it wasn't. He was really marked up. Yeah.
So I was like, sitting at ringside, a few people was like, think it might be the end of the road here for Macklin, because
he thought it. You heard him. He done an interview, and he said, he goes, at one point, I was catching a few jabs, and my eye was going, and I was slowing down a little bit. I was thinking, do you know what? This is it. And fair play to him, because he's been in some wars.
Yeah.
He just bit down his gum shield, and he cracked on. And I think Brian Rose's camp, and himself included, obviously, were surprised how strong he finished, because he's supposed to be the fit guy. He's only stopped 8, so he constantly goes 12 rounds.
Yeah.
He's a guy who finishes his fights late.
Yeah.
And
turned around the other way.
He turned around the other way, and I think for me, that caught the judge's eyes as well.
Yeah.
Well, they were important rounds for
that was
for
a
Macklin,
good fight, really intense. You got drawn into it because you knew what was on the line for both guys. Where does the loser go? I mean, it's going to be difficult for Rose now to pick himself back up. Is he going to be happy going to box back down at British level? I'm not sure. When you competed at world level, then you got to drop back down to British level.
Well, to be fair, that fight was British level, really, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so he's got to drop a level
below
that.
So
yeah,
what I'm saying is the winner's going to move on. Now is he going to hang around at that
level? Does Macklin warrant a crack off the back of that, though?
Whether he warrants it or not is a different matter, because
he's a big name, though. He's a big name.
That's what I'm saying. Because he's been there on someone's CV, his name's going to look good.
Yeah.
He's boxed for the world title. Was he boxed for the world title 3 times?
Yeah.
3 times. So because he's been there, someone who's now champion will go, oh, I love that. A nice little voluntary.
tell you
So
what,
it's going to be an interesting
We've got a
fight.
couple here as well. I like Macklin, but he won't win a world title. I thought Rose won. There you go.
Yeah.
Ryan, but pleased for Macklin to win and now call it time. I think, Joe, what? I think that Macklin's a fighter, he loves to fight, but that's never going to happen, is it? He wants that big fight. Ryan Macklin wanted it more. I think so. And this is a blinder, Ali Spratt. I think that's a very good shout. Macklin would be a good name for Chris Eubanks Jr., I think.
Absolutely.
It's a
great
good
shout.
Yeah, it is a good shout.
I like Ali Spratt. Ali Spratt's cool because he comes on every week, gives a great answer. He must have about 20 gloves indoors signed up, unless Darren Barker hasn't sent them to you. But they're on their way, Ali, don't worry. But yeah, he's a good guest, mate. He asked some good questions. He's got great boxing knowledge. And Ben Bishop as well there, he says, it's a win for you. It's a win for Eubank, though. I'm in agreement with you, mate.
Age and
timing, Dale.
Timing.
It's all about timing.
He's just a more fresher fighter.
Yeah.
Macklin's a tough man. And if he got himself into super shape and train his absolute nuts off, he can make a fight of that and try and draw Eubanks into the trenches.
Yeah.
But I just think, it's a fact. Macklin's best days are behind him.
Behind him. Don't
get me wrong, I'll tell you now, I would love to see Macklin knock him spark out. I'll say this.
You and the rest of the country, mate. I believe what Macklin's one of the nice guys of boxing, but he's been around a long time and everybody's career comes to an end. And I think that Macklin's virtually there now.
Right, go on then, mate. Back to O'Hara.
Yeah, O'Hara. Go on, O'Hara Davis versus Keats. Now, we're going to talk about Nigel Benn's son, Conor Benn, in a minute. But to me, O'Hara Davis is a little bit like the new Nigel Benn. He's rough, he's rugged, he's a little bit reckless. It's so hard, but that kid, you see him on a regular basis. His determination and will to win is phenomenal, isn't it?
It's funny though. We go back to one of our first interviews we've done, and we did the quick fire with O'Hara, and we said to world title of 5 million. Bang! Before I could even finish the question with 5 million, he's
driven by money.
And do you know what, right? Some people say that's the wrong thing. That's wrong, all right. If you're driven by something that strongly, then you're a dangerous fighter. And he wants to be a multi-millionaire.
When we get into the amateur boxing game, we're in it to win fights, and we're in it because money's not you're not even thinking about money. You're a little kid. When you turn professional for one reason only, because you want to earn a few quid. You do it as a living. So boxing becomes a business as opposed to a sport. When you're an amateur, it's a sport. It's good fun. You're running around the world with your mates in the England team, having a great laugh. You turn professional, it's all about the money. So the moral of the story is that he's totally right. That it's about money, mate. I mean, do you want a world title belt hanging on your shed because you can't afford a house? Or do you want £5 million in there and go, well, I boxed for the world title, I never got it. You want the money, man. So it's the right attitude.
On top of that, though, with his desire, he's a good fighter. He's very unorthodox. He's awkward. But I'll tell you now, I'll sling him in Ricardo all day long, and I would bet a lot of money O'Hara beats Ricardo. A lot of money.
Yeah,
and I was slinging him in there with him now.
Well, Dal, that ain't going to be too long, mate. He's picked up the English title, and that fight will. I know for a fact Eddie Hearn will move him on quite quick now. He's had 11 fights, 9 knockouts. He's ready to go, man. He's ready to go. I think he's got the talent to do that. So great fight, great fighter.
I'm talking money. Would you have not won a world title, Darren, for an extra? Or would you have not won a world title, Darren, or an extra 500k? I'll tell you now, I would have fought that world title for nothing, no money at all. And to be fair, it wasn't the greatest money anyway because I was a voluntary defence. But I tell you now, hand on heart, promise, I swear to you, I would have fought for nothing that night. Maybe a meal. You know, when you're amateur, you get your meal ticket. Get cheese and ham sandwich and a can of Coke.
We're not going to talk figures, but the world title defence weren't a bad play.
That wasn't bad, yeah. But then again, I mean, I'd prefer to have won it if I'm honest. But anyway, I've got hips like an 80-year-old.
What else have we got going on down there?
Right, I think that's us for a minute. Do we end up with Charles Martin? Charles Martin. Do not end up with Charles Martin. And sorry, man, I've lost what we were talking about. But who else have we got in? Oh, right. So Conor Benn.
Yeah.
Conor Benn as well. I mean,
son of Nigel Benn, boxing the undercard.
Lots of pressure on him.
Mate, they put him on just before Anthony Joshua was coming on at the O2 Arena with 20,000 screaming people, half of them drunk, going absolutely bananas.
Oh, I
So
wouldn't mind
Nigel Benn walks Conor Benn into the ring. The crowd are going bananas. That, for a young kid, is massive pressure. I don't care who you are.
I caught up with him beforehand. I was with him quite closely throughout the hours before a fight, and he was nervous. He was buzzing. He was excited.
I'm not surprised.
But we go back actually a few days beforehand. I remember being in the car with him. He goes, "How do I handle the pressure? I used to be nervous fighting in Sydney in front of 20 people, and we're going to deal with this." What I said to him was, pressure or whatever doesn't exist. It's manufactured from the person themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a real,
It's how you deal with it.
It's how you deal with it, and it's all fake. Just get in there and do your thing. You train like a lunatic.
Well, you hear that old saying, don't you? Oh, he froze. And when you hear that saying, when people get in the ring, like, oh yeah, he froze, like when Frank Bruno boxed Mike Tyson, people go, oh, he froze. You could see him walking in the ring. Well, it's how people deal with pressure. So different people deal with it differently. So, for instance, if I was walking into the ring, I'd be seeing 5,000 screaming fans screaming at you, and I'd think, can't lose in front of this lot. Not thinking about the million people that are watching, just thinking, I can't lose in front of this lot. And I used to channel my nervous energy.
About 500, mate.
No, I'm not talking about my peak.
Hold on, we've got someone said, what sort of mentality does Conor Benn have? Well, I'll tell you something now, because I think this is quite important. Conor Benn's from a privileged family, obviously with his dad, loads of money, lived a lovely life in Tenerife, moved to Sydney. He didn't have to fight. He could have done anything he wanted. He's from a privileged background. He wants to fight. He wants to do it.
And he can move. He can
from
fight.
Sydney. He can fight. He moved from Sydney to London, to Essex, to fight. Yeah. I've seen him in the gym. He trains like a nutter. He spars. He's ferocious. He's so young. He's got a lot to learn. And it's tough to say where he'll go. But if you're listening to Nigel Benn Senior, he's tipping him to go all the way. He's tipping him to eclipse what he's done.
We've been over the gym. I've seen him sparring with serious names. He mixes it in with all of them, O'Hara Davis and all those. That kid can fight, man. And I think that he's definitely one to watch in the future. I think he's going to come out of his dad's shadow at some point, like Eubank Jr. as with his dad. I think that he's going to go the same way. And my prediction is that I think we'll be seeing him topping the bill. And I think we'll see him winning titles without a doubt. And what a lovely kid Conor Benn is as well.
What a mentor, though, to have. You know what I mean? Your dad.
And it's weird. Like, so you've got Eubank Jr., who's exactly the same as his dad, arrogant, not people like him. In fact, Eubank Jr. is even more arrogant than his dad. Yeah. He's just not like kid. And Conor Benn is exactly like his dad. And his mentality, the way he boxes, like he's fiery, ferocious in the ring, but a lovely kid out of it. And there's anyway, just a little bit of comparison.
Well, anyway, I mean, it'll definitely clear up domestically. I've no doubt about it. But the world thing, I mean, you got to see how he develops. Yeah. He's still so young, and he'll have a lot of fights before he fights for any sort of title world or for.
Yeah. Right. Look, moving on. So let's go overseas that night as well. We've got to mention this: Manny Pacquiao versus Bradley.
The legend.
Yeah. I mean, the first fight Bradley won he lost the fight by 8 rounds, but they give it to Timothy Bradley, which my view was disgusting. He won easy. Second fight, Pacquiao won on points. So they had the decider, the third fight, which was also Pacquiao's farewell fight. He said that he's going to finish there. Mate, he turned back the clock. I mean, I thought he looked the bollocks there.
Couple of knockdowns.
Oh, unbelievable. Couple of knockdowns. Great performance. Smashed Bradley up and went and won a wide point decision. Now, where I'm going with this is, where do you reckon, is this the end, or do you reckon he fights again?
I would say 100% more so than, I mean, I don't think Mayweather will fight again, but I think even more so, 9.99 in UK for Pac-Man fight. That can't got many buys. Right. For me, I 100% think Pacquiao will retire. The reason being, he's earned bundles of money, put that to one side. He's a deeply religious man, and he's well into his politics. He's got two things to sink his teeth into, and they're two big distractions.
For me, he's fulfilled what he needs to do. He's won numerous world titles. He's been down as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I think he goes down as a modern-day great and probably one of the best fighters of all time, Manny Pacquiao. I don't like it or not. The geezer started as a flyweight and won a world middleweight title, a light middleweight title.
Used to go hungry in the streets of the Philippines.
It's incredible. The story's unreal, and I think that he's done everything he needed to do. He's gone out on a blinder. And I pray that that's the end of him, because everybody's going to remember him for that great performance.
He's going to throw 10 mil at you.
Yeah, but how many mils do you need, man? He's got a lot of mils.
Yeah, but you've seen him though, and his camps and that, his entourage. He's got about 500 people,
and he gives so much money away as well.
Yeah, he's
I want to be
very
his friend.
generous man.
I want to be his friend, mate.
He has an entourage of as many people as go and watch you fight.
Anyway,
well, so we had that. So, right, this weekend,
yes,
we've got a couple
this
of
week's
fights,
action.
I might be in Leeds. We've got Josh Warrington. He's on the bill. He's defending his European.
He's got a tough fight, you know. He's got a tough fight. He's a Japanese fighter that he's fighting.
He's a big lump, you say.
He's huge. He ain't big. He's huge, mate. He's like
Ben Bishop.
He comes in at 5'10".
Tall.
Yeah, he just looks like a giant. So I mean, a tough fight there for Warrington. One, I think he could possibly come through, and if he does come through, good fight with Selby.
He's in the mix again, isn't he? I mean, they're the one they were calling out for, wouldn't they? You got one thing I will say is when I go up to Leeds, because I'm up there supporting my mate Martin Ward, who's up there. He's defending his WBC international title against a tough Spaniard.
Hard fight.
But I'll tell you one thing, going back to Warrington, I will be taking my umbrella there. Because have you been up to Leeds when he fights?
Nuts.
Right, so he goes, this song comes on, I predict all right. Every single bloke and women there, because they all drink pints of wine in Leeds, they throw their pint down to the crowd. And everyone at ringside gets absolutely drenched. You smell like an absolute pisshead. You know what I mean? So I'm taking an umbrella.
Wait, listen, I don't need to throw pints over you, do I? I can see it. I can see it now.
I'll be pissed before he gets in the ring.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a great bill, and really looking forward to seeing where Warrington goes. I mean, if he does that, then we've got some massive fights set up for him as well. And Selby fight is one that we would love to see.
And
then, I'm working on Sky.
You're doing the night shift.
Yeah, there's going to be about 8 people watching because I think he does a ring walk about 3:30 in the morning or something. So
I'll watch you, mate. Just watch you.
Yeah.
I mean, what am I going to do? What am I going to do about you?
I know.
I'm going to come with you.
Come, you're welcome. I think I'm in there with Lee Selby, actually. I'm doing a show with Lee Selby. So it'll be interesting to see.
That's blinded.
Yeah, so I'll get him to sign a few gloves, by the way. So the next week's winner will be getting a signed Lee Selby glove. So I'm doing a show with Lee Selby. Stephen Smith versus Pedraza. Pedraza, is that right?
Pedraza, yeah, I'll say so, yeah.
So anyway, Pedraza's making his third defence of the title, or second defence of the title, sorry. Decent fighter. 20-0, 12 knockouts, wicked jab. What does he have to do, Smith, to win?
I'm reading the boxing news, the Bible. They summed it up pretty well. He's got to fight the fight of his life to win it. Yeah. You know, he's got to box out of his skin. The guy's a very good fighter. Like you say, he's got very stiff jab.
What's the tactics? What does he need to do? He needs to get inside the jab. He needs to get close.
I know it's a bit of a cop out when people say this, but I would say he's got a box fight. He's got to be smart, educated, but aggressive. You know, he's got to step in with his shots, be out of range, but his reflexes have got to be razor sharp. He's got to miss that jab, sit that jab, come inside, but don't let the gap be too wide. Do you know what I mean? But he's got to be on the ball every second of every round. Otherwise, we'll get caught. You know, like you say.
I think if Pedraza is allowed to box, he's got an unbelievable jab, this kid, and I think if he's allowed to box and his own home soil, it's going to be a very difficult night for Stephen Smith. But I believe that if Smith can get close enough and let some of them shots go, look at the fight when Stephen Smith boxed Gary Buckland. Wow, what a knockout. That uppercut, man, and he's done it a couple of times, Stephen. He's really dangerous on the inside.
I remember my brother Gary, God rest his soul, when he was boxing down in the GP squad, and he was one who he really rated. Though he was a little bit older than my brother. He said that he was really good. He rated him low. So I've always had a soft spot. Really rated him, and I've always had a soft spot for Stephen Smith, as I do the rest of the Smith family. What was the fact you was telling me about the world titles?
What
with Stephen Smith? So
so Stephen Smith wins. He's the third brother to box for a world title. Obviously, we had Paul Smith boxed Arthur Abrams twice. Liam Smith is the current world light middleweight champion. So now Stephen Smith is boxing the world title. Callum Smith is on the verge. I mean, Jesus, man, you've got 4 brothers, all boxing world title. I believe that 3 of them could become world champions. Definitely 2, because I believe that Callum Smith will win a world title. Stephen's got a tough job in front of him, but it's not without his grasp. Paul still hanging around, but is he going to ever get to that world? Will he ever win a world title? I think he's good enough to box for a world title, Paul. Not so sure he's good enough to win it because there's so much talent around at the moment. But unbelievable, man. I mean, they made history, the Smith family, and I would love Stephen to win it because you know what? What a lovely kid he is.
Yeah, I like to say I'm a massive fan, and you know, a big fan of the family. Even the old man, I'm in awe of them. Really, it's you know, just to win, just 4 professional brothers, 4 professional brothers, not 4 British. It's just nuts. It's nuts, and big supporters of them.
Right. Well, listen, just before, because we're coming to the end of the show now. Just before we go, now every week Darren gets his little black book out and does a quick fire round.
Yeah, right.
Or brown. Well, it's not my book, is it? So I don't really know. So the brown book. So I'm going to do it this week, and I'm going to do it on him because he has a laugh at everyone else. So here it is, Darren's little book.
I bet you can't even find a page.
Oh, he's got a page, you know.
He's got it.
Look at the state of the book. Look at the state of it. It's falling to pieces. So let's do the quick fire round with Mr. Darren Bumbag Barker.
I'm a bit nervous.
Right, early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Dancing or singing?
Dancing.
Wine or beer?
Beer.
Cats or dog?
I'm going to go dogs. No, I've never had one. I like them.
Beard or clean shaven?
I like a bit of stubble.
You ain't wrong, are you?
Yeah, a bit of stubble. So I suppose I'm leaning towards more than beer.
You sleeping on the park bench? You sleeping wrong? Fruit or veg?
Fruit.
Money or fame?
Oh, money, definitely. I don't want to be famous.
World title or 5 million cash?
I'll have to 5 mil because I've got a nice
all day long.
Nice shiny red belt at home.
Call or text?
Depends who it is, but I'm a serial texter.
Nah, you're a texter, man. You just drive me nuts. By the way, he drives me nuts with his texts. If ever we're trying to get a guest on, do anything, it's like, Dow, you spoke to him? Yeah, I'll give him a text. Now, Dow, we need to speak to you. Can you give a call? Yeah, I'll give him a text later. So just wanted to clarify that Darren's a texter.
Shut up.
So if he ever calls you, he won't call you. White bread or brown bread?
Brown bread.
Blonde or brunette? We're getting serious.
Whoa, brunette.
Jesus. Ferrari or Lambo?
Lambo.
It's murder, this, isn't it? It's not easy, is it? Christmas or birthday?
Christmas.
Beach or pool?
Pool. Pool.
Fries or chips?
Chips,
skinny ones or fat
chips.
ones?
I'm a chip connoisseur. And I love fish and chips. So it's got to be proper fat chips.
Boobs or arse?
I like a big pair of Fripneys.
That's boobs, by the way. Yeah.
Fripney bits.
Looks or personality?
Personality looks.
Window or aisle seat?
I like a window on rest.
All day. That's all he does is sleep, by the way. I know where we go. So that's it. We wrapped it up.
Yes,
brilliant
I've done it.
stuff.
I'm glad that's out of the way.
The quick fire is done. Darren Barker's done. That's a great little answer there. Great show, guys.
It was a great show.
On.
Right, so Ben, you've got the there you go. Lorraine put it up there. The live show at yahoo.com. Get over. I'm pinging them all tomorrow. Spencer's going to meet me and he's going to pay for all the shipping. So remember, get on the archives. I'm not joking. We've got every show on there, every single show there. There's some brilliant head-to-heads. There's some great laughs on there.
Last week's show, Johnny Nelson. What's his real name? I know a lot of you know. Joe Cole's on there. Joe Calzaghe's on there.
George Groves, James Agan, Joe Calzaghe, our first ever show. Yeah. Get on there, watch him. It's brilliant. You know, I want people to know what it's all about.
Yeah.
Can I say, on April the 22nd, we're going to have an app for the iPhone, app for the iPad, because at the minute we can't watch it on there.
We know
you're going to be able to take part on your phone. You can come home from work, you can watch it, you can get on your iPad, get on it, download the app, get on it, and
it's going to make it
our first show. I think it's going to be, was it the 12th of May or something like that?
5th or 12th.
I'm in Vegas, so we got that, another one. That's a good show on the I think it's the 7th. No, sorry, the 5th. The 5th is going to be, we'll have me and Matthew Macklin out in Vegas. Talking about Clark Canelo, and Benny will be in Sunny Potter's Bar.
Yeah, Sunny Potter's Bar. But so that's it really. That's the end of the show. So make sure the app is coming where you'll be able to get it then on your iPhones or iPads. I know it's been quite difficult with the Google Chrome, but listen, we're moving on. We're moving forward. Loving the show. Tell everybody about it.
Live show.
So let everybody know about the show. If you missed any of the previous shows, on the archives. But from myself, Spencer Oliver,
me, Daz, and Darren Barker,
this is
the live show.